Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I have a project share today, something I've been working on off and on for 2 weeks. And Dolly, who is Crafty Mermaid Mom here on YouTube, if you do not want to see it, please say bye-bye now. Dolly and I have never had a formal swap, but we would see things that we thought reminded us of each other and send them. And we were emailing back and forth, and we decided to just send each other something like once or twice a year, and everything has to be handmade. So I was like, oh wow. So what I used, the only thing, I didn't bring everything down. I only brought the paper down because I'm going to have to run through it kind of quick since I had to make everything. So this is a Prima paper, and the only Prima paper I own is when Hobby Lobby says that all of their paper is 50% off. And so I used this one, which is called Love Story. Just a little bit of that one. The majority of the paper I used is from this Prima, which is Tales of You and Me. Okay, and I really enjoyed working with this paper because it is gorgeous. Such pretty paper. And here is the journal I made her. It's, as you can see, we're dealing with vintage and sewing. She has a family member that sews, and herself. And I think you might have seen her fabric flowers on her channel. And speaking of fabric flowers, this is one of mine. And I took pink ink and just very lightly brushed it around the edges. And I did fussy cut this image out of different paper, though, because it had the spool of thread and the needles and everything. And this little lace doily behind here, I did tea dye it. And that was successful because it was as white as this flower. And some of the flowers come, most of these flowers come from Hobby Lobby. And then you turn that over, and you have a pocket here that I made. And Dolly loves sayings, and this is treasure. To keep carefully, to treat as precious, highly valued. And this has in it some, oh, I'm going to have to take my glove off. Oh, well, y'all, I tried. There we go. I can keep one on. And this has behind it the postcard and just some little journaling cards that she can use in here. I also made 2 envelopes and 2 small cards that she could use. See how tiny? And I used to buy these all the time to put on my gifts. I love the small gift cards. And then I also made this one, which is très chic. And then it opens this way. And I'm not going to put everything back because of time. So I'll just put those there. And then I made these 3 little envelopes, those tiniest envelopes ever. And they have just a little tiny piece of paper in each one, that I was hoping she and her husband are very happy together, and I was hoping she could have him put I love you on the cards in his writing, so that, you know, she could look at that, and even though she knows he loves her, it's just kind of a sweet thing. And then I made this here for her to write on. And look how pretty that paper is. Isn't that paper gorgeous? And everything is inked with Tim Holtz's vintage photograph. And then this page has just a little tuck spot here, which is just a piece of ephemera that is roses. And then I did some inking around here. If it's not done, the inking isn't done in Vintage Photograph, then it's done in pink, a blush pink. And then she has Make Every Moment Special, and then this lovely oval image, and then this one, and this one. And then on this side, I thought this might be a good place for a photograph. And then this washi came from Michael's. And then this is actually, oh no, this little cutout just says 4 feet for 5 inches, which would be a vintage price. And then the doily comes from Joann Fabrics. And then from Hobby Lobby, this is a magnet with new needles on it that I thought she could put in here in case she wanted to pick this up while she was making her fabric flowers. Then the next 2 pages look like this. And for the very first time ever, I made one of these. And this is just a little book that she can write in. And I just put the white pages and sewed it with great tutorial on YouTube, and I apologize for not writing it down. If I remember who it is, I've never watched her before, but when I looked it up to sew this, I will put it down in the description box because she's wonderful. And I did that in pink embroidery thread, and that just has its little fan that it goes in. And then this little envelope that I made, if you open it up, it just, again, it has punch pieces and little cutouts and stuff like that in it. Keep looking at that clock. And then this page, this is for her to write on. And then I put this up, the little spool of thread up on foam, and then wrap the embroidery thread around it so it looks like a real spool of thread. And then I fussy cut this image out. I thought again would be great for, oh excuse me, I don't holding it right, I apologize. It would be good for pictures, photographs. And here the next 2 pages are like this. And on this side, something I haven't done since the 80s, no wait a minute, early 90s, is I did a tiny bit of counted cross stitch for her, and in the same floss that I just showed you on that spool of thread. Fussy cut the scissors and punched hearts and stuff like that. And then this is the dress form, and this little heart, if you used to do a lot of counted cross stitch in the 80s and 90s like myself, you can do those in your sleep. I didn't have the pattern because I didn't need it because I've done it so long. And this is another booklet for her to write in. And that's how that turned out. And then on this side, I tried to tea dye this piece, which came from Hobby Lobby, but it took just a little, but it was like, I think it's a synthetic, so it was like, I don't wanna. And in here, I made 3 more cards or pieces of stationery for her, but these are so small she can't just send them out, so I went ahead and put on the front so that she could put their names. Remember, she has beautiful handwriting in these. And I made the envelopes, and then this is one where we have all the way across the measurements and a little rose, and this is dealing with threads and needles and stuff like that. There's one of them. And then also this one which has the little birdie on the thread, and then I did the piece to match the envelope. And then the last one is just a sewing machine. And I did a punch out and then cut around it to make a frame for it. And that's what is in that pot. And then the very back, the very last one, it has washi samples on a very tall spool of thread, or thread spool. And I just thought, I really love that image. I think that's such a beautiful image. And so what I made to go with this, and if you're wondering if it took me a long time, yes it did. I made paper clips for her, and you have to include the mermaid since it's Crafty Mermaid Mom, and a seashell. And remember, she loves saying, so count the happies, be kind, create something beautiful every day. And then put the little shell and the sticker down here that has the pearl on it. But you have to have mermaid there somewhere, don't you? Speaking of having the mermaid on, I made her some rosettes. And I've included these. You can take off. It's a removable tape behind them. She can take them off if she wants to make wands, because this is a 1/2 inch height to it. And so this front, and then she could put those in the back if she wants to make wands out of them. And then for embellishments, I did these. And we're dealing with little lace flowers and lace pieces. And I thought y'all get a kick out of this, a teeny tiny spool of thread that I put the embroidery floss around, and I inked it up to make it look older. And so she also gets these. And then for her card, gotta take it out of its plastic. I did this one, and this rose embossing folder is Tim Holtz, and that is, it's one of my favorites ever. I absolutely love it, and it's by Sizzix, and oh, and then I just fussy cut around it, the image, and inked up an oval, and laugh until it hurts. I'm a real believer in that, I tell you, that's some good medicine. I think, personally. And then I also made her some tags, and I'll try to get through these quickly. I made her this one, which is a collage. And then on the back, I used the tag that Tammy gifted to me. Then there's this one. And this little pin is from 7 Gypsies. I do remember that. And I got to use I put my own writing on that one. This, through a stencil, I put some gesso. Also this one. And this one, that gesso again, in a dress form. And then last but not least, this is actually from the seam binding. I cut this out. This is actually from the packaging on a vintage seam binding. So that's what I have for Dolly, and I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. And I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening. Bye-bye, everybody.